cloud monitoring, cloud security is so much of what you do. I want to ask you about this SolarWinds hack that we've been talking about over the past few weeks. What is it about your monitoring, your technology that fits into this storyline? Is this something that you could have detected or that you're building any kind of resources to monitor against in the future?
Well, so first, hi. Yeah, so the SolarWinds hack, definitely a very big one, I would say. Not especially surprising to see new important hacks like this one, but definitely a very impactful one. I think what it makes very clear is that there's going to be even more of an arms race when it comes to security. And it's not surprising. I mean, companies are transforming. They're having more and more of their activity that is happening online, is happening in software. And so there's much more that can be done by attacking that software. So what we do is we gather as many signals as possible across observability and monitoring, which is the where we come from, and across security. And what's interesting here about the SolarWinds hack in particular is that it's what's called a supply chain attack, meaning the attack was made on the code that was shipped to the SolarWinds customer. And there's this new notion in security that's called shifting left. And by left, what it means is closer to the developer, like to the earlier in the development process. And I think there's something really interesting there when it relates to us and how we can solve the problem for our customers by bringing security earlier into the development process and tying it more into the operations and the development of the application. So that's definitely something that we're investing in and something that we think is going to be a big area of investment for our customers in the future.
Okay, now let's talk about your growth, some of the areas where you've seen growth, where your customers have experienced strong demand, streaming, online education. What do you expect to continue to have momentum in 21?
Well, I think pretty much all of the above will continue to have momentum. This year, we've seen fairly brutal changes in patterns of usage in the cloud. As you can imagine, so streaming, as you mentioned, all of a sudden, everybody's kids were watching Disney Plus, video conferencing, online gaming, all of that, spiked pretty quickly. But even if you think of the domains that were negatively impacted by COVID, such as travel, when all of a sudden everybody had to cancel their travel, it actually meant a lot more activity for the online sites of the travel companies. So you see all these patterns of companies spinning up and spinning down, and the way we see that is it's a big win for the cloud in general, because companies could change their minds, they could actually scale up, they could decide to ship different services, to have them delivered at different scales. And instead of having to spend 3 months or 6 months trying to retool everything and ship that to their data centers, they could do that very quickly in the cloud. So we see that as a big win for the cloud. Next year, we still see some scaling from those customers. We see some of the industries that were negatively impacted coming back online and scaling back up. But across the board, we see more and more, I would say, renewed urgency around digital transformation and migration to the cloud, just precisely because the cloud made it possible for companies to react so quickly, and those who were not on the cloud were more impacted than the others.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.